For over 3 decades, the beloved residents of Springfield have found themselves entangled in the evil clutches of various villains. In this video, we'll delve into some of the most memorable defeats of villains from The Simpsons, highlighting the creativity, cunning, and often sheer luck. In Krusty Gets Busted. Sideshow, Bob disguises himself as Krusty and robs the Quickie Mart, framing the clown for the crime and leading to Krusty's arrest. Bob takes over as the new host of Krusty's show, enjoying his brief success. However, Bob's victory is short-lived. While filming an interview with Bart about Krusty's condition, Bart slowly pieces together the truth that Bob orchestrated the robbery and framed Krusty. Bart exposes Bob's scheme, leading to his arrest. As Bob is taken away, he swears revenge on Bart, setting the stage for their ongoing rivalry. In Some Enchanted Evening. The kids devise a clever plan to take down the notorious babysitter burglar. As the babysitter follows the sound of the pacifier, she falls right into the kids' scheme. They quickly overpower her, using a baseball bat to knock her out. The kids then tie her up and rush to the nearest payphone to anonymously tip off the police about the captured babysitter burglar. However, in an unexpected twist, the kids' parents return home, oblivious to the danger that was lurking in their midst. The parents unwittingly set the babysitter free, undoing the kids' hard work. In Treehouse of Horror 2, Lisa's well-intentioned wish for world peace backfires, as the absence of conflict leaves Earth vulnerable to an alien invasion. Kong and Kodo swoop in, enslaving humanity. With all wishes exhausted, Homer passes the magical paw to his neighbor, Ned Flanders. As the paw resets, Ned seizes the opportunity to wish the aliens away. In a bizarre turn of events, Moe saves the day, chasing the extraterrestrial invaders off with a trusty wooden plank adorned with a rusty nail. In Marge versus the Monorail. After successfully scamming the poor people of North Haverbrook of $3 million by constructing a faulty monorail, Lyle Lanley runs away on the next flight. Sadly for him, another one of his flights has an unfortunately layover at North Haverbrook.
North Haverbrook, where have I heard that name before? Oh no.
The townspeople somehow spot his seat number and charge into the airplane with fire and pitchforks beating him up and rocking the plane back and forth. In Bart's Girlfriend. Jessica ultimately crosses the line when she steals the collection money from the First Church of Springfield, where her father serves as a minister, and frames Bart by placing the plate in his lap. Lisa, however, exposes her wrongdoing. Despite the clear evidence of Jessica's guilt, her father stubbornly refuses to acknowledge her crime and continues to blame Bart. It isn't until Jessica confesses to her actions that the truth comes to light. In The Springfield Connection, Homer's release from jail is short-lived, as he quickly finds himself hosting an illicit poker game that takes a surprising turn. While dealing cards, Homer stumbles upon Herman's operation, a gene counterfeiting ring secretly operating out of the Simpsons' garage. Marge bursts onto the scene, catching Herman and his cohorts off guard, and swiftly apprehends them as they prepare to assault Homer. As Marge handcuffs the accomplices, Herman seizes Homer, holding him hostage as he makes a frantic dash for Bart's treehouse. In a desperate bid for freedom, Herman attempts to use a pair of counterfeit jeans as a makeshift rope, but his plan unravels, literally, sending Herman tumbling to the ground. In Who Shot Mr. Burns? After the town meeting, Mr. Burns sees Maggie eating a lollipop in the Simpsons' car and tries to steal it. During the struggle, Burns accidentally drops his gun, which Maggie picks up and fires. The gun falls under the seat, where Homer unknowingly leaves fingerprints while reaching for a dropped ice cream cone. Revealing he was shot by Maggie, Mr. Burns demands Maggie's arrest, but Chief Wiggum refuses, arguing that no jury would convict a baby, except maybe in Texas.
Maybe Texas.
In Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace, in Bart's dream, Willie morphs into a terrifying giant bagpipe spider. Just as Willie is about to pounce, Lisa bursts into the dream, attempting to rouse Bart from his sleep, but Willie seizes Lisa, intent on doing her harm. As the siblings face impending doom, Maggie appears and saves the day by using her pacifier to seal the vent on Willie's spider body, causing him to explode in a dramatic and comedic fashion. in Brother from Another series. Cecil throws Bart over the cliff, but in a shocking twist, he's saved by Sideshow Bob, who swings across using a grenade and saves Bart. The two characters are now swinging by the grenade when Cecil tries to blow them up. Luckily, Sideshow Bob, with some pilers, cuts them free before the explosion, leading to a rather long and dramatic fall. The characters get lucky again when Bob lands rather painfully on an extended pole. Bart pulls Bob up, saving his life, and the two characters decide to put a pause on their never-ending rivalry. Finally, Cecil gets arrested and nags about getting Christmas letters from Bob as he's carried away. In Homer's Enemy, Frank becomes increasingly obsessed with how Homer manages to get away with his reckless behavior while still being rewarded. Frank completely unravels, and in a fit of rage, he starts mimicking Homer's irresponsible actions, running wildly, showing off his backside, eating recklessly, neglecting hygiene, and spinning around in a chaotic frenzy. His reckless behavior culminates in a tragic turn when he touches a live electrical cable, resulting in a fatal electrocution. In Treehouse of Horror 8, inspired by the idea of becoming a mutant superhero, Bart decides to enter the teleporter with a fly, expecting extraordinary results. Instead, the machine just swaps their heads. Desperate, Bart turns to Lisa for help, but she gets trapped in the kitchen by the fly. As the chaos escalates, Bart attempts to intervene. In a last-ditch effort, Lisa pushes the fly along with Bart into the teleporter. Bart reappears, fully restored, but Homer, enraged, chases him with an axe for tampering with the device.
I'll teach you to mess with my machine!
In Send in the Clones, in an attempt to curb the clone population, the government devises a clever plan. They lure the clones to the edge of Springfield Gorge, using helicopters dangling giant donuts as bait. The ruse succeeds, and the clones tumble into the gorge in pursuit of the tantalizing treats. Later that evening, Marge is shocked to discover that the Homer sleeping beside her is actually a clone. The real Homer, it turns out, was the first to take the plunge with the other clones. Marge is initially distraught over the loss of her true husband, but the clone Homer's soothing back rub eventually calms her distress. In The Great Louse Detective, Homer and Sideshow Bob engage in a peculiar pursuit, chasing the killer on stilts. The assailant, revealing himself as Frank Grimes Jr., claims to be the illegitimate son of the late Frank Grimes. Seething with resentment, Jr. blames Homer for his father's demise. The stilted chase comes to an end as the police apprehend Frank Grimes Jr., bringing his vengeful crusade to a halt. In The Homer of Seville, as Homer takes the stage, Marge and the kids are on high alert for Julia. Bart spots her disguised as the conductor, and Marge watches in terror as Julia prepares to strike with a poison dart. But Marge acts fast, using a French horn to deflect the dart back at Julia. As Julia falls, Chief Wiggum's snipers miss their mark, but fate intervenes. The giant chandelier comes crashing down, crushing Julia underneath. In Funeral for a Fiend, Lisa's eyes widen as she pieces together the shocking truth. Sideshow Bob's family is masterminding an elaborate scheme to ensnare Bart. Meanwhile, Cecil expertly manipulates Bart's guilty conscience, luring him into the villain's trap. The Simpsons race against time to the funeral home, rescuing Bart in the nick of time as the police burst in to apprehend the cunning Terwilliger clan. In the Grand Pumpkin Millhouse, Lisa Simpson encourages Millhouse to imagine a massive turkey, symbolizing Thanksgiving, who could rescue them, and it works. As the pumpkin devours Principal Skinner's brain, Tom Turkey crashes in and confronts the Grand Pumpkin. With a heroic blow, Tom Turkey drives his harvest horn into the pumpkin's mouth, causing it to explode. In The Great Wife Hope, during the match, Chet tells Marge that he has no intention of hurting her, but then strikes her with such force that she collapses. Bart rushes into the octagon to defend Marge, but Chet grabs him and is ready to strike him as well. This moment sparks a surge of courage in Marge, and she fights back, overpowering Chet. When he taunts her to turn around and take a bow, he attempts to strike from behind, but Marge anticipates his move and dodges the attack. In Thursdays with Abby, Homer stumbles upon a shocking discovery in Marshall Goldman's office, an article predicting Grandpa's demise, which would secure Goldman a Pulitzer Prize. Horrified, Homer realizes Goldman intends to murder Grandpa. Homer rushes to the train station, where he narrowly misses the train carrying Grandpa and Goldman. Undeterred, Homer, Lenny, and Carl jump onto the train's roof and lower Homer into the carriage. Inside, Homer confronts Goldman. Grandpa seemingly surrenders, but cleverly pulls the emergency brake, sending the train screeching to a halt. The sudden force knocks Goldman into the wall, where he's buried beneath a pile of hat boxes. In Black-Eyed Please, during a brief 2-minute bathroom break, Bart manages to wreak havoc in the classroom and uploads a video of Miss Cantwell in the bathroom, grumbling about how much she dislikes Lisa. The plan succeeds. Miss Cantwell quits her job immediately. Lisa offers to make it stop if Miss Cantwell would just like her, but the teacher refuses. As Miss Cantwell drives away, Lisa tries to understand why she hates her. At first, Cantwell dismisses it as something that just happened, but she eventually admits that she harbored a deep-seated hatred for pretty blonde party girls that bookworms like her could never compete with. In Brick Like Me, Homer revisits the android's dungeon, determined to escape the fantasy world. However, Lego Comic Book Guy reveals a surprising twist. He's a manifestation of Homer's own subconscious. To prevent Homer's escape, Lego Comic Book Guy fortifies his store and unleashes Lego pirates and ninjas to thwart Homer's progress. As Homer cries out for help, Lego Bart springs into action, constructing a colossal robot from assorted playsets. The robot rampages through the store, defeating the pirates and ninjas before crashing down, creating a rubble-filled landscape. Amidst the wreckage, Homer discovers the toy box and opens it, transforming back into his flesh and blood self. In Simpsorama, Farnsworth suggests launching the Bart-goblins into space to stop the invasion. Lisa cleverly guides the creatures into Madison Cube Garden, where the Planet Express ship then lifts the entire structure and sends it flying into space. In Blazed and Confused, Bart seeks revenge on his nemesis, Jack, by spying on him and uncovering his role in the Blazing Guy Festival. At the event, Bart and Milhouse sabotage the main attraction by covering the wooden effigy with a fire-retardant substance, humiliating Jack in front of a massive crowd. Enraged, Jack attempts to burn Bart and Milhouse alive, prompting Bart to climb the statue in desperation. Just as Jack is about to catch him, Homer intervenes, catapulting himself towards the duo. Although his weight causes him to lose momentum, Homer's actions inadvertently collapse the statue, sending Jack and Bart tumbling to the ground. In the end, Jack is apprehended and imprisoned, while Bart is relieved to have escaped his clutches. In Uncut Femmes, Lindsay unleashes the security guards on Marge and Sarah, but their husbands inadvertently thwart their escape. Just as Lindsay closes in on Sarah, Marge deftly trips her using another guest's trailing dress, sending Lindsay tumbling down the stairs. Rainer arrives, callously dumping Lindsay for his new girlfriend. As Lindsay struggles to her feet, Aaron and Bet, disguised as event staff, hand her a purse filled with stolen items they've cleverly planted on her. Costas Becker tracks down Flanders to a remote Wyoming cabin, thanks to Marge's unwitting trail. A tense confrontation unfolds on the frozen lake's dock, where Flanders shields Homer and offers himself up instead. Becker's taunts about Flanders' grandfather's shady past ignites Flanders' anger, causing him to knock Becker's ledger onto the ice. As Becker retrieves the book, he falls through the ice and meets a gruesome demise, drowning and being devoured by fish beneath the frozen lake's surface. In Pixelated and Afraid, Wolverine runs after Marge and Homer, deciding to save her, runs down a tree and uses a huge branch to pin Wolverine against a cabin. He asks Marge to escape, but instead she tosses him a makeshift hammer. Homer then uses the makeshift hammer to kill the Wolverine. In You Won't Believe What This Episode Is About, Act 3 will shock you. As the team infiltrates the headquarters, Theo warns them to avoid the clickbait on the computers. Everyone except Homer falls for the trap and gets sedated. Homer reaches the server room and initiates the eradication code upload, but discovers it will erase damaging information about corrupt individuals. Torn, Homer destroys the flash drive, sabotaging the mission. Theo's superiors confront him, threatening to do to him what they did to democracy. In Not It, Krusto's creepy carnival act takes a dark turn when he conjures up the ghosts of his former victims, a bunch of kids he'd previously dispatched with his twisted tricks. The gang tells Krusto he's lost his grip on them. Marge tries to smash the creepy laughter sign with a rock, but Krusto tries to take a bite out of her instead. Luckily, comic book guy leaps to the rescue, taking the bite for her. Marge finally destroys the sign, and Krusto's creepy powers fade away. The ghostly audience vanishes, and Krusto himself shrinks, screaming in agony until he completely disappears.
That material is not gold! It's gone!
In the Simpsons movie, as Homer and Bart touch down safely after their daring jump over Springfield Gorge, a vengeful Cargill emerges from the shadows, shotgun in hand. Seething with rage, Cargill vows to claim his revenge on Homer for ruining his sinister plans. Just as Cargill takes aim, Bart intervenes with a well-timed prank name, momentarily catching Cargill off guard. In that split second, Maggie seizes the opportunity, heaving a massive boulder from behind that crashes down on Cargill's head. Whether it's Bart's quick thinking, Lisa's sharp instincts, or Homer's, well, Homer's ability to stumble into success, the Simpsons have always managed to find a way to save the day. And so, as we look back on the many defeats of villains from The Simpsons, we're reminded that, no matter what dangers or challenges may arise, The Simpsons will always be ready to face them head on. That's the end of this adventure, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.
That's a wrap, baby.